the Warg Zoggit in 227 M38. The Orc warlord Zoggit, famous for killing anyone foolish enough to imply he might be a bit of a weird boy, declares a warg straight into the Vermilion space rift encroaching upon the world of Zogdis. He and his boys emerge in the Comorite port spar of black blood, much to the surprise of its resident cabal. The resultant storm of violence carries hundreds of thousands of orcs into the twisting byways of Comorar. War is joined in earnest when the Dark City turns its attention to the Orcoid invasion, systematically isolating each Orc army in order to destroy it piece by piece. However, each cabal is preoccupied by trying to turn the unexpected invasion to its advantage, that the Orcs cause far more damage than any of the cabals thought possible. Several districts of Comorar are toppled or burned to cinders by wave upon wave of howling orcs. Eventually, the orcs are corralled and over 10,000 greenskins are captured by the witch districts, packed to capacity for almost an entire fortnight. Beauty relinquished. In 717 M38, a new fashion sweeps the spires of Comorar, and soon every member of the noble houses has paid to have himself horribly disfigured. The suddenly fashionable homunculi consider it to be a very good year, but the trend is predictably short-lived. The time of reparations proves even better for business, and suspicions abound. Pandaemon betrayed. In 799 M38, the trans-dimensional satellite realm of Pandaemon declares independence from Comorar, instantly triggering a great war between Archon Q, Lord of the Iron Thorns, and the Cabal of the Black Heart. Q is ready for Vect's attack, but not for the treason of his own daughter, who reveals herself as one of Vect's many courtesans. Civil war rages for solar weeks, but ultimately the realm of Pandaemon is delivered into Vect's hands. A gruesome lesson in 933 M38. During the prolonged campaign for Massgrave, the 121st Cadian elite, famed across the Ultima Segmentum as the Eldar Killers, disappear completely without so much as a comm signal. Weeks later, thousands of headless and armless human bodies with Imperial Eagle tattoos are found roaming aimlessly along the arched streets of Comorar's Vault District, moaning, staggering, and bumping into each other before being put out of their misery by Hellion hunter gangs. Desperation's End. In 272 M39, the Imperial frontier planet of Desperation unwittingly sows the seeds of its own demise when it sends an astropathic message detailing an invasion of Hellspawn. In fact, Desperation has been chosen as the theater for the latest unveilings of the Children of Bone, a clique of homunculi who specialize in unusually large grotesques. After the desolation of the planet's cities, the homunculi disappear with holo captures of their vile creations at work. Years later, the rescue void ships that enter Desperation's orbit determine the natives of the planet to be heretical beyond recovery, for they now worship the Children of Bone instead of the Emperor. The natives fight with frenzied tenacity, for they fear the homunculi far more than the Imperium's troops, but nonetheless the world is completely purged within the space of a solar week. The Thieves of the Ice Mists in 616 M39. Upon the ice-locked planet of Fenris, aspiring space wolves recruits begin to disappear during their trial of Morkai. Each aspirant has been implanted with the gene seed of Lehman Russ, and only the strongest have iron will enough to prevent it from ravaging their bodies and affect permanent development into beasthood. The wolf priests notice that an unprecedented number of these aspirants are going missing, and after fruitlessly patrolling the wilderness of Asaheim, focus their scrutiny on near space. Sure enough, a Dark Eldar fleet is stationed above the ice caps of the neighboring planet of Midgarden. The Space Wolves mount a lightning invasion upon the Midgarden ice caps, their thunderhawks descending on tongues of flame to bring the last remaining xenos there to battle. They fight with the fury of the storm, but soon enough, the homunculi coven's garrison there fade away into the mists, their mocking and distant laughter receding into nothing. The Space Wolves find a series of white-capped chambers leading deep down into the planet's crust. Each is empty of life. Empty, that is, save for witless brutes of bulging muscle and fur incarcerated in tubular pods, some of whom resemble the Primarch Russ himself. The Space Wolves do not speak of this day. The Dark Within the Light in 117 M40. The veiled crypto-scientist Vorsh perfects a technique he calls photonic transubstantiation, transforming himself into a living beam of light and traveling distances purely in order to proclaim his genius. He is eventually captured in a prism trap by the Cabal of the Black Sun, who use his technologies to stage large-scale terror attacks upon the peace-loving Naiad Republic. The Hunters Hunted in 835 M40. Duke Sliskus is hunted by the Grovian Fiends, an elite reptilian bounty hunter cadre who have a reputation of completely annihilating their targets. Sliskus instructs his agents upon the Grovian flagship Last Chance to place a device of the Duke's own invention into the metal belly of the craft. Just as Sliskus is about to pass through an ancient webway portal, it seems that the game is up. The Last Chance emerges from a gas cloud in hot pursuit, guns blazing, and follows it into the webway. The Duke's ship emerges above the home world of the Grovians, primes and ready for planetfall. The flagship Last Chance, its navigational coordinates corrupted by the device placed amidship, emerges into the blazing heart of Grovia's sun. A gauntlet thrown in 226 M41. Lilith Hesperax issues a challenge to the Dark City. Should anyone produce an inhabitant of real space that can pose her a genuine challenge in the arena, that individual will be honored beyond their wildest dreams by Hesperax herself. The competition sparked by this challenge is immediate, violent, and widespread. Archons lead raiding parties to strike at the length and breadth of the material realm, returning with ever mightier champions and deadlier monsters trammeled in their holds. Yet Hesperax defeats every victim brought before her, carving down hissing tyrannid hive tyrants, chopper-wielding orc war bosses and righteously indignant space marine heroes with equal ease. Archon Cargiel, the Bleak Soul Brethren, finally presents Hesperax with a foe that can answer her challenge. In an especially daring and costly raid, he has kidnapped Brother Captain Cadulon of the Iron Knight Space Marine chapter. Known as the Saint of Blades, Cadulon is an exceptionally talented swordsman who has twice been declared victor at the ritual Feast of Blades. As Hesperax meets his eye across the arena floor, she knows she faces a worthy foe. With a predatory grin, the belladonna of the Dark City goes to work, her blades ringing against Cadulon's sword in a blizzard of sparks to the maddened roar of the crowd. The duel lasts for over 6 solar hours before Cadulon finally falls, leaving Hesperax victorious with but a single bloody cut across her midriff. Amid the sudden hush, Archon Cargiel descends to the arena floor to accept his reward. Yet his look of triumph curdles as Lilith kicks the fallen Space Marine's blade across the floor to land at the Archon's feet, explaining that the greatest honor she can bestow is the deadly kiss of her knives. To the amusement of the crowd, Cargiel is lucky to last 6 solar minutes.